Hola, this is Kesseline and welcome to my channel, k.thecraftyplanner. Today I want to share with you how I made my bullet journal work for me. Back in 2015, I was introduced to the bullet journal system here on YouTube. I binge watched so many videos trying to grasp this new system of keeping a schedule. To me, it was revolutionary. I went and bought my dotted notebook and started to draw lines in boxes. I started creating collections for this and collections for that, and I even tried to do a mandala for my mood. I wanted all the pretty things that I saw. The problem was that the system was amazing, but it had become so overwhelming. Keeping track of so many collections became so tiresome, so I stopped. I felt frustrated that I couldn't draw pretty things like spreads that I saw on videos or on social media. I wanted to do a theme for every month, but when I put my drawings on paper, to me, they looked just silly. You see, I can't draw at all. So I went back to my trusted, structured, pre-printed yearly calendar. Deep inside, I knew that I wanted to make the bullet journal system work for me. At the end of the day, isn't that the spirit of the bullet journal? To make it our own? So I grabbed the supplies that I loved, the system that worked for me, and I decided to retry this bullet journal thing. This time, using the things that I felt comfortable using. The things that I love and that I know how to use are stamps and inks, and everything that comes from that crafting world. My number one craft to do are note cards, and I feel comfortable using the tools and materials to make them. I thought that I could merge my tools and materials from card making with my bullet journal, and here's how I did it. To begin, I set aside the dotted notebook. Even though I love the paper and feel of the notebook, I noticed that a bound notebook limited me. I couldn't add pages, and if I made a mistake, I had to rip the page or find another creative way to glue the pages together. It wasn't working. Instead, I got a notebook with the ARC system. The ARC system is a Staples brand and is the system that I currently use for my work notebook. The system consists of a set of discs. These discs are hooked to covers, and then you add the paper of your choosing. The discs come in different sizes, which makes it easy to customize your notebook. The trick that makes it possible for the pages to hook to the disc is the shape of the holes. This shape makes it possible to easily add or remove paper. To make the holes, I used the ARC Hole Puncher. This puncher was an Amazon purchase. The one thing that I love about this hole puncher is that you can make the hole for different sizes of paper. For example, you can use the A5. You can also make junior size, which is the one that I'm using for my bullet journal, letter size, and A4. This hole puncher was on a high price tag, so please beware of that. For me, since I use the ARC system in my personal use and at work, I decided to make the investment. Seriously, I do not regret it. I think it was a great buy. Now for the paper. For my bullet journal, I will be incorporating stamping, die cuts, and any mixed media I feel in the mood for. In order to do that, I need to add a thicker paper. So I'm using 65-pound heavy cardstock or higher. This will help me to avoid any bleed through when using stamps and inks. I still love the dotted paper from the bound notebook, so I will be adding that type of paper as well. Please note that loose paper that have the feel and texture similar to the notebooks used for bullet journaling are sold pretty much anywhere you buy your stationery products, so check them out if you don't have the supplies that I have. I picked this pack from Staples, but after sizing my spreads, I noticed that the paper was too short for what I needed. The particular pack that I chose, it has a size of a 5.5 by 8.5, but my paper is size 6 1/4 by 8.5. To get the size that I wanted, I ripped some pages from a notebook that I bought at Walmart, and then I cut them to my desired size. Having the disc-bound notebook gave me that flexibility to add more paper. Once the papers were sized, I hole punched them and I added them to my ARC Customizable notebook and began putting together my bullet journal. For the first page of my notebook, I used paper by Gina K Designs called Foil Mates. These papers can be used to color with ink or markers. You can run them through a laminator with foil or just like this. I am planning on adding foil later on, but for now I like the look of the design just as is. Gina K Designs have other Foil Mates designs for you to choose from, and I will be using some of them in the future. If you have a printer that is toner based, you can create your own designs and the prints will be attached to the foil. After my cover page, I am placing my future log. This log is from January to December 2019 and it includes 2 months per page. I created this spread in my computer and I printed them double-sided on heavy cardstock paper. Then I trimmed the paper. Cutting the paper 6 1/4 by 8 1/2 left me with a chunk of paper. But no worries, I can always reuse these pieces in my notebook or on a future card. Trying out the bullet journal system for so long made me realize that in order to stay productive, less is more. The future log is one of my long-term collections. In the future log, I keep events like conferences, time away, birthday parties, important deadlines, vacation time, and holidays. This is helpful to look at for reference as I set up my months. Because I printed this spread using a toner-based printer, I can too add foil if I want to. But for now, I will keep them as is. The next page I'm setting up is my monthly cover. Like I mentioned, I can't draw, so I'm relying on my stamps. I went through my stamp stash, and for this cover, I am using the stamp set called Bird with Flowers, and Kelly Creates Traceable Alphabet Stamps. For the ink, I am using the Memento ink in the color London Fog and New Sprout. The Bird with Flowers stamp set was ideal for what I needed and for what I was looking for my monthly cover. Behind the monthly cover, I have my monthly calendar. Once again, I used a stamp set with the Memento ink in the London Fog color. I also used my Bic Permanent Marker and my Pilot fountain pen with the Iroshuku Ink in the Kujaku color. On the page next to my calendar, I have my yearly goals. I keep the design simple using one of the plant stamps from the set. Finally, the weekly spread. If you have watched bullet journal videos, you might have noticed that people usually create 1 week at a time. Because of my busy schedule, I need to create 1 month at a time. After trying out so many weekly layouts, this is the one that I go back to time and time again. I like to see my whole week at a glance with a mini calendar of the month on the corner for reference. The space in the bottom is left for my 4 collections for the week. As you can see, these weekly spreads are simple. At the end of the month, I have a page that I have titled Looking Ahead. This is my second and last long-term collection. I like to leave this page as plain as I can so I can catch any notes, reminders, or other things that will be helpful for the upcoming month. I just added new stamps of the plan stamp and I am done. Here is my bullet journal. Having the ARC system allows me to customize my bullet journal as I see fit. I try different ways to do my bullet journal, but this is the one that today I feel more comfortable using. And if in the future my life changes, I can trust that my bullet journal will take me there because it gives me the flexibility to change. If you are thinking of jumping into the bullet journal system, I encourage you to make it your own and to use the materials and tools you have at hand. I believe the spirit of this system is to help us to be more productive and for us to be able to do it at our own pace. Knowing that life is constantly changing and so are our schedules, I feel comfortable knowing that I have a system that can change with me. The bullet journal gives you the flexibility to do just that, to be more flexible. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please follow me as I plan, craft, and do other life-giving things. Remember, It is never too late to create something new. So please start today. Have a wonderful day. Hasta luego.